Roster's being cut down this week to 53 guys. There are a lot of sad stories about players who did not make the team, but there are a lot of amazing, redeeming stories of players who did. I wanted to go through 5 different stories of players who made the 53 that were not only long shots, but were told that they wouldn't at some point in their life. Here we go. Top 5 stories of players making the 53-man roster. Very direct in explaining what this segment is.
It must have been hard to pick, Peter, right?
So many.
Right?
There were over, I think, 600 undrafted players who made Final 53s. So
wow. And these are the 5.
These are the 5.
Okay.
Starting number 5, it is a 7th-round pick. It is Colts wide receiver Michael Strachan. Now, his name is spelt Strachan, like the Hall of Famer Strahan with a C, but it's pronounced Strachan. And this was the pass that I think did it, where he mosses the dude on the Panthers and goes up and gets it. His story is incredible. So, 7th-round pick at the University of Charleston. That's a Division II school. So you don't see a lot of Division II players. He was one of 3 just drafted this entire season. Makes that play, has this height, right? So now here's what we got here. This is a player who is, get this, 6'6", 227 pounds, and at Charleston would just dominate because of his size. But the story about where this is from a lefty quarterback. Look at this guy. He's playing against guys that are half his size.
Did they cut the grass even?
Hey, come on now, Kyle. Look at that corner. I feel for him. Strachan is from the Bahamas, okay? Cool. Did not play much football growing up. Comes from the Bahamas, has a wingspan that is 82 inches.
Wow.
82 inches. This is your physical, like, what? But even when he got to Colts camp, it was like, all right, let's see what we got. And then he's there with T.Y. and Pittman and Zach Pascal, and he's holding his own. And by the end of camp, it was like, not only is Strachan going to make it, this guy might play a real role on the team. He was aiming to compete in the Olympics in 2020. They had the whole thing. He was training to do track and field for Bahamas. COVID hits, and he's like, you know what? I'm just going to focus on football. He was told a million times, football? You're a Division II player from the Bahamas who did not grow up with football. Guess what? Made the 53.
Wow.
Probably dress week 1.
Unbelievable.
Happy for that kid. Michael Strachan.
Cool.
Number 4, there's a whole, I want to say, community of young men and women who have been told, you're just too small. You'd be great if you were 3 inches taller. Like, you're just too small. Insert Jaret Patterson in Washington, all right, who has dispelled all of that forever. Jaret Patterson is a 5'7" running back in the NFL who did everything you possibly could do at the University of Buffalo the past few years. While at Buffalo, get this guy ran for 3,800 yards and 52 touchdowns. He had 8 rushing touchdowns in one game against Kent State. One game, he had 8 rushing touchdowns. He was a high school teammate of D'Angelo. You know this story?
Talk about it.
Chase Young's high school teammate, all right? The 2 guys grew up together. Yeah. Chase Young and Jaret Patterson. He goes undrafted, ends up being a signed undrafted free agent in Washington. It's a nice story, right? 5'7" running back. We got our guys. We got Antonio Gibson. We got McKissick. Comes into camp, dominates. Goes to the preseason, dominates. Has a huge second preseason game. It's all over the place. And Jaret makes the team. 5'7". 5'7". Was a second-team All-American. Guess what? Undrafted. Still makes the squad. I love stories like this. 8 rushing touchdowns in a game and still goes undrafted. It's what it is. Shout out to St. Vincent Pallotti High School in Maryland, where now Chase Young, who would later transfer, and Jaret Patterson both are from and now get to play together in that area in Washington.
How about Washington's front office? Shout out to them. The fact that they undrafted guy, they found him and loved him.
Unbelievable.
So good.
Good job, Martin Mayhew and the boys. All right, number 3. This is a story you've been following on Hard Knocks. I don't want to spoil anything because you're just watching on Hard Knocks. You might not know it. Azur makes the team. Azur Kamara makes the team. The young man from the Ivory Coast who has been chronicled on Hard Knocks this entire offseason. He makes the final 53, and they are hard on him on Hard Knocks. You're watching all of the different coaches being like, come on, Azur. You're just getting screamed at for hitting the quarterback at one point. He hit Dak. Don't do that in practice. And then at other points, not pursuing the right way. Well, it's from the Ivory Coast. Ends up in Arizona when he's 10 years old, having never heard of football, never playing football, from Ivory Coast. He had been separated from his mother, who got here. She rejoins with her kids at the age of 10, and then he picks up football and then goes to the University of Kansas and starts to ball out and is a physical specimen that is putting it all together up here now. The Cowboys, their defense was putrid last year. They could have gone out and signed a bunch of guys for big money. They could have drafted just all defensive line. Azur Kamara was on the team last year on the practice squad. He's from the University of Kansas. We don't know much about him as a player yet, but we're learning about him on Hard Knocks. Look at this journey this young man has made. Born and raised in the Ivory Coast, he flees the Ivory Coast during a civil war, moves to the United States where his mother was already, and he reunites with his mother after years of being apart at age 10. Did not play any football until he gets to high school, goes out there in Arizona and balls out, has 26 sacks as a senior in high school, and is signed as an undrafted free agent, and naturally makes his way onto the team. You love to see it. I hope he has a chance to dress in an NFL game, but he made the final 53. Spoiler, Hard Knocks fans, I'm sorry, Azur, which his mom is yelling throughout the entire preseason, he makes the squad. All right, number 2 is a player who is close to our show, and he's going to get carries, and he is going to play on special teams. And you're gonna see him Sunday night against the Bears dressed and like making plays. Ladies and gentlemen, Rams running back, Jake Funk.
Yeah!
Jake
We
Funk.
got the funk.
Don't fake the funk, because Jake Funk not only made the team, guys, you know I talk to those coaches, like he's gonna play, like he's got a role in the offense. I'm talking, it could be 5 carries, could be more than 5 carries.
Not special teams, offense. He's in the McVay offense.
Offense, he's going to play for them. Jake Funk, who was a 7th round pick out of Maryland, who came on our show, and no one had ever heard of Jake Funk on our show. I mean, he had a huge year after. This is the story. This guy tore both ACLs in college. 2018 tore one ACL, 2019 tore the other ACL, has a big 2020, but like he's at Maryland, no one's really on the radar, maybe the special teams guy. Comes on Good Morning Football, and we asked him, why should a team draft Jake Funk? Listen to this answer and tell me if you're not ready to run through a wall for Jake Funk.
Starting with the running game, I think I'm a guy who's a very productive runner. I'm a guy who is a downhill one-cut back that takes what the defense gives and never gets negative yards. I don't like to dance. I like to keep the offense on track in the run game, and then also on top of that, I think I'm a very versatile player. I think I'm somebody that you can motion out into the slot, become a receiving threat, be a mismatch in that game, as well as on special teams. I've played every single special teams in my career at Maryland, racked up 30 tackles in over 2 years on the coverage units. And I think that, within itself could be a weapon. And really, I take pride in being more than just a running back. I'm a football player at heart, and being able to just make plays all over the field, whether that's running, receiving, blocking, or covering kicks and tackling. I think, I do all the basics of football very, very, very well. And I think it rounds out my game and, creates a very versatile player where you're going to get more than just a running back if you end up drafting me.
I mean, he sold himself on our show. The Rams guys loved it, and then he loved it once he was selected by them. He's going to play. He's going to make the team. He made it. He's going to dress, and he is going to get carries in that Rams offense out of the gate. So Jake Funk,
so good.
Congratulations. And the number 1 player, the number 1 best story.
Who beats Funk?
You got to beat the Funk. Let's go. Do you guys know about Browns offensive guard Michael Dunn?
Tell me.
Have you heard this guy's story? D'Angelo, as a player who has had so many guys on your teams who have done the NFL journey of practice squad to practice squad to practice squad, I know you'll appreciate this guy, number 68, Michael Dunn. All right, how do I even go about this? Undrafted out of Maryland, another Maryland guy.
Wow.
All right, he's played in 7 games. All right, so he's played in the NFL, and he actually started one of them in the playoffs too, okay? But here is his story. Undrafted by the Rams, okay, in June of 2017, waived by the Rams, signed by the Rams practice squad, signed to the active roster, signed by the Jaguars. Jaguars practice squad, off the practice squad. Jaguars practice squad, on the practice squad. Yeah. Then played for the Birmingham Iron of the AAF, the Alliance of American Football. Well, they suspended operations and stopped being a thing, and he had to find another job. So he signs with the Dolphins. I'm going to make the Dolphins, right? Doesn't make the Dolphins. Then goes and is drafted by the Seattle Dragons of the XFL. Yes, the Seattle Dragons of the XFL. Well, guess what? COVID-19 hits. There's no more XFL, so he's out of that league. Signed by the Browns in August of last year, waived by the Browns in September of last year, signed by the Browns to the practice squad after that in 2020, and finally would be lifted up to the active roster during the season a few times, and for the first time in his long journey, which includes a lot of stops, which we will go through here, this young man made the final 53 for the first time of his life. Michael Dunn. It has been a journey, and all those practice squads and all those new T-shirts with the Dragons logo that doesn't exist or the Iron logo that doesn't exist. You made the squad. You remember the Cleveland Browns. Congrats to you. There you go. Let's go. 5 different players, unorthodox journeys to the NFL, different kinds of stories. I know we talk a lot about Cam Newton and some of the other guys who didn't make teams. Let's celebrate some of the guys that did.
Yeah. Unbelievable. It is now a done deal. That should be the new T-shirt. I'll always say for Jake Funk is, Peter, offensive coaches hate 2nd and 11 and they hate 3rd and 13. What he said about, I'm a guy who keeps the offense on track, that is a coordinator's dream. They're always talking about, we got to stay on schedule, one-cut runner. And we know that McVay ate it up, and that's why he is where he is.
There will never be a 3-yard loss because he's dancing in the backfield. That is
That's a value in that.
That is Jake Funk right there.
There is a Darren Sproles-sized hole where my heart used to be, and I need that filled by Jaret Patterson. I need him to be a thing. Not only incredible that he made it, he's in the NFL, he's 5'7", he's got all these crazy, his accomplishments are insane, but the fact that they only kept McKissick, Antonio Gibson, and Jaret Patterson. There are only 3 running backs on this entire Washington football team roster. He could be a thing.
He could definitely be a thing, Kay. And I had the opportunity to interview Jaret Patterson. And, the way he looked at me, he was like, man, I grew up watching you. And I'm looking at him like, bro, you are a stud.
Yeah.
And let me give you a little background. The only reason he got in camp, we gave a shout out to the front office. It was because Chase Young.
Is that right? Did Chase make the statement?
Walked into the front office and said, hey, guys, y'all need to take a look at this kid. He was one of my high school teammates. He's a really good player. Just bring him in and try it out. And I said, man, Chase, you might have a future in the front office, man. Because he found him a stud. That's for
awesome.
sure. Awesome. Found a stud.
It's like he threw him a block. That's cool.